Assalamualaikum, dear students and all my viewers. I welcome you once again within this online lecture series. So today I am going to talk on my second topic of class 10 from power sharing with certain special cases of Sri Lanka and Belgium once again. But prior to this, I am going to start something, to talk on something regarding the same topic. Let me share something with you people that every time perturbs my mind nowadays. What's that? That I am receiving the bundles of the messages and phone calls from my students who persistently are saying me, sir, we are a bit demotivated towards our academics. We are dejected. Our heart wrenched. Feelings didn't allow us to continue our studies because the moment we surf on net, we open the newspapers, every time the story is disdain and dismay that the way we are engulfed by this COVID-19. So among these conditions, what to do? Although I'm not a motivational speaker to deliver something here regarding your motivation, but let me tell you, gentlemen, when it was 1665, when this London, the great epidemic caught London in 1665, that consumed almost 75,000 lives there. Among these conditions, there was one man, namely Sir Isaac Newton, a great mathematician, astrologer, a theologian as well. What he did, he was in the home quarantine, in the same conditions, the way we are going through this nowadays. So this was a time when he stayed at his home. He read all those issues. He described all those issues which were unanswered. He answered the queries of the French mathematician, namely René Descartes. He taught the world the concept of this gravitation. Why apple is falling on the ground. That can be the logic that this moon is attracted towards this earth. So later on that came to us in the concept of this gravitational pull. So the concern of this thing is that let's not feel dejected. Let's try to be motivated. Let's not feel demotivated from our books. Let's give ourselves a sensation. Let's make a mindset of this thing. We have to do something for those who are the wretched ones. I mean, this Kashmiri community. The only tool that can empower and emancipate them, that's education. So let's pray to God that this COVID-19 will say goodbye to the world and to we people as well very soon. So we will continue this formal schooling as the way we were doing. So now let me come to my topic, which I'm going to discuss here. That's about this power sharing. Let me recapitulate your lecture first. When I was talking to you about this, the concept power sharing, then I took some examples from the Europe. That's what we call Belgium. Its capital Brussels was particularly discussed there. Then I talked about this Sri Lanka as well. What sort of intricacies, what sort of the ethnic complexities were there on the basis of this language among both states? Or they were every time on the loggerheads there. The animosity was there. So the last question which I posed to you people, the doubt that I created in your mind, that was like this: is really the any form of government in the world that's going to address, that's going to accommodate the feelings and the aspiration of these people? This is what the doubt I am going to clear here today within this lecture number 2. So my dear friends, the moment we talk about Sri Lanka, let's talk a bit historical legacy of Sri Lanka. In 1948, it got independence from the British Paramountcy. In 1948, when you talk about the 1948, this is the time when it got independence from from British. From British rule, it got independence. Although it was a colonized state, in 1948 it got this independence. So what happened later on? So this British, after the independence time, so it was caught by this majoritarianism. I'm going to write this board on the board as well. It was ruled by majoritarianism. Means the majority groups at the cost of minorities, right? So what happened in 1956? They passed a law there. The law, the government that was made by this majoritarianism. So they passed a law in Sri Lanka, and that law gave a special privilege to the Sinhala language, and that made Buddhism, the Buddhists, special references and special privileges were given to the Buddhists, the religion Buddhism. And this majoritarianism ruled there for a long span of time, and in this way, a sort of animosity was there against the people who were speaking the Tamil. So what will happen to those people who were speaking the Tamils? Very minimum people there, speaking almost to 11 to 12% the Tamil speakers were there. So what they did? So they felt a sort of alienation, what we simply call, in the dictionary of political science, we call them that they felt a sort of alienation. When they felt alienation, so they raised their voice against the same majoritarianism concept. So what they did, they were demanding the formation of a new government that gives special privilege to this LTTE. So liberation of Tamil Tigers Elam came into existence. LTTE. This abbreviation and the full form is Liberation of Tamil Tigers Elam. So these Sri Lankan peoples, the Tamil speakers, now they were in search of their what we call this political identity under the umbrella of this LTTE. So the demanding of the Tamils should be given the special privilege. So this is the way that this LTTE and the majority government that was based on this Sinhalese Act. So they were on the tussle. So this animosity between the two groups, it gave birth to this different their tussles, different clashes, different rivalries, and later on a civil war as well. So dear students, let me define it. What is the civil war? So civil war is that type of war that's fought within the states, where there's a periphery and core and periphery tussle between them. Center and the other peripheries. Every time there's a clash and they talk about their sovereignties and they talk about their special identities. So there is no foreign intervention and interruption within the civil war. So same is the case when we talk about this LTT and this Sinhalese government there in Sri Lanka. So now the question comes, when it came to end? So it was a time in 2009, May, when the last leader of this Sri Lankan, this LTT group, namely Prabhakaran. So it's better I recommend you to Google and read about something about this man called Prabhakaran. So when this Prabhakaran was gunned down by the Sri Lankan government, so this LTT rivalry came to end. Later on, when we talk about the president of the Prime Minister of the Sri Lankan, namely Mahinda Rajapakse, who is also the incumbent Prime Minister of the Sri Lanka as well, Mahinda Rajapakse, what he did? So they talked about the reconciliations. They framed a reconciliation commission there that's called LLRC. The full form of the LLRC is Learned Lessons Reconciliation Commission. So in 2010, this commission was framed by this Rajapakse government there. So what was the role of this LLRC commission? It was supposed to make the analysis and the observations between the tussles between the LTT and the governments, and the role of the different stakeholders as well. So ultimately, they came to the conclusion that special privilege and importance and the identity was given to the LTT that ended the rivalry and animosity between these LTT and this government as well. So this is the one case when it comes to Sri Lankan. That's why we see nowadays a sort of peace is prevailing, a democratic feelings and the sensation is coming from the Sri Lanka as well. So now when you talk about the Belgium, the different case, how Belgium government, how the government in Belgium tried to accommodate all those things. So but the case in the Belgium was a bit different. What they did, the government of Belgium tried to amend the constitution of the Belgium almost 4 times. The reason was that to give privilege and give importance and significance to the different minority language groups, right? So they amended the government almost 4 times in the Belgium, and particularly in the Brussels as well. What they did, they gave special importance to Brussels. They made there certain community governments in Brussels, and in which the people were represented, the voice were represented in the Belgium as well. So that's why, dear friends, if you talk about the only European Union that gets establishment in Europe, so the headquarters remains at Brussels. So the case in Sri Lanka and the Belgium. Let's have a brief analysis now. In case of the Sri Lanka, they try to frame to make the commissions there for the peace building, for the nation building in Sri Lanka. But in case of Belgium, they tried to amend the constitution, which I said earlier, almost 4 times. The reason behind this was that to give the political identity to all those people who seems that we are alienated and who feel sort of alienation there by amending the constitution. So dear friends, let's jot down the conclusion here then. When it comes to this power sharing, this is the way, the best hallmark and the predominant feature of the democracy is that's power sharing. The way we share the power in Sri Lanka and in the Belgium, then the peace prevailed, both in the South Asia and the Europe as well. This is the way the power sharing benefits, it gives benefit and boost the democracy. So let's have a clear look here over the conclusion and the scope of the power sharing by discussing this Sri Lankan and this European case as well. So wish you all the best. So let's have a next lecture on this the different features of power sharing in my next coming. Till then, take care and Khuda Hafiz.